Having observed myself and other people do less than what we can actually achieve, I've been thinking that the subject of time management is something that we really don't revisit so often. Because as young people, we may not be feeling the weight of responsibilities on us that may give us that sense of urgency that we need to begin to prioritize and learn how to manage our time effectively. Seneca once said, and I quote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This deeply resonates with me because it is not a matter of that we really don't have enough time. It is just that we waste a lot of our useful energy doing what we should not be doing at every point of the time. So I've struggled with this, and a few things have helped me here and there, and I have applied. And to some extent, I've been able to overcome the struggle. And I want to share with us a few tips that will help us to better manage our time and be more effective. But before then, there are about three things I've identified that makes, see a lot of young people waste their time. About three of them. The first thing I have identified here is not having a clear view of the big picture. Now you need to ask yourself, sit down, take some time out to ask yourself, what do I want from my career? What do I want from my academic pursuit? What do I want as regards to family? What are my top values? So when you ask yourself all of these questions, you begin to get a sense of expectation that you want. So why is this crucial? Because of if that is not there is no how to check how you have managed your time. You understand? Because the journey without a vision is futile. You end up getting stuck in other people's plan for your life, or you are just lost. All right. So it becomes that's the very first thing, though it seems counterintuitive to what you first hear as regards to time management. But if you have not figured this out, it is a major problem that I see why we waste a lot of our useful time. Another side to this is you haven't figured out what you want. You have an expectation, but sincerely you don't know what to do to get there. Or sometimes you're not preparing yourself to get there. This is a serious problem. I'll break this down. It's like you are heading somewhere, you have a destination, you don't know how to get there. Now what happens is that you may get there, you may you may get lost, you may find help, you may get there late. There are just a lot of uncertainties on the way. While I'm not saying that we need to figure everything out before stepping out, I'm just saying there should be a little sense of what do I do to get from A to B. No, you can get it from getting yourself equipped by reading books, reading biographies and autobiographies alike, engaging research, seeking mentorship, asking questions. This will help you to know and have a sense of what are the steps you need to take to get to where you are going. Because like I said earlier, if you have not figured out what you should be doing, there's no way you want to measure if you are being productive with your time or not. You may not be part of the two previous categories we mentioned earlier. You have figured it out, you even know what to do, but then you are trying to apply it, right? To which at this stage was where I was for a very long time, trying to use the different technologies and AIs to get things done, the apps, phone apps, everything, but it just seems not to be working. Now, this is it. Imagine a random person handed the surgery equipment, the scalpel and everything, and asked to conduct or perform a surgery on a sick person. Imagine what confusion the person will be in. That is almost the same thing we are doing. We have the tools, though they are the right tools, but the discipline to engage those tools we have not been taught. So time management requires self-discipline, self-control, and self-mastery, because in the long run we are not managing time per se. We are only managing ourselves. You need to be able to make decisions and stick with the decisions that you have made. That is time management. All right. So let's now get into the tip that I have for us as regard to time management. Now, this is a system that, trust me, it just works because it is simple. There is an acronym in design called KISS, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. This implies less is more, which is something you want to know when it comes to time management. Is you want to do less and not more. You want to focus on how can I streamline all I am doing as little as possible so I can engage focus. All right. Don't fall in the trap of spending more time organizing your productivity tools instead of actually being productive. You know, So the first is have your long-term goals written down. Write it down. Make it plain so that you can run with what you have written. And now, what you want to do with that long-term goal you have written down is you want to put it at a place where you see it often, where you can get reminded of it often. Why? Because of so you can make decisions that aligns with your long-term goals on the long run. Because we may be focused on the big things and not know that our daily decisions contribute to forming the results that we have. Our daily decisions contribute to forming the end results that we get, because as I say, a little drop of water makes the ocean. Your little actions that you make each day build up to the results that you get at the end. So it becomes very crucial for us to have the long-term goal in plain sight so we can run and make daily decisions that will in turn guide us to achieving those goals. The second thing is make a weekly list of your goals. What I mean by this is break down your goal, all right, in such a way that you have something you are doing each week. I know we are used to setting yearly goals, as it were, and these are goals that we end up not achieving because of they are sometimes vague. And when they are not vague, we lack the accountability to follow through the year. I advise you opt for something like a quarterly goal, 3 years block, 3 month block, or you do monthly, because so you can follow through and easily assess: have I achieved, have I not achieved. A year is too long to assess your progress. It's too much of a time, because what end up happening is that setting yearly goals um, requires motivation, but setting weekly goals require discipline. To follow through 365 days in a year requires discipline, and that's not motivation at all. You must know that you need the discipline to follow through each day. Now, I have a list of what you want to achieve in a week to have a better view as you are walking across as the week goes by, to have a better view. So you want to have that list, and from that list you craft um, your daily schedule. Now, the second thing is the third. So now the third thing is plan your day ahead. So each day you should plan the night before. So tomorrow morning you should have planned the day by today's night. What do I mean by that? Before you sleep, this should be the last thing you do. Write down 5 to 10 things you want to get done the next day. Now, there is a reason why I've said 5 to 10. Write down as much as possible everything you have identified you will need to be doing the next day. Write it down the night before. Why is this important? So that your mind can brood over it before daybreak. While you are sleeping, your subconscious can go over it, and now you want to achieve everything. So when you have this written down the night before, then you move to step 4. Step 4 is now identify your priorities. And how do we do that? You do that by applying, I'll suggest you apply the 80-20 rule, which is that 20% of what you have written down will give you 80% of the result. So for instance, you have written out 10 things to do. 80-20 rule states that only two of them will give you 80% of the results. Sometimes it's even 90-10. The ratio changes, maybe 70-30, but it's just around that range. So you want to look at what are those top 2 tasks. What is that one task that what I do will give me 80% of the results? And you check that by the consequence of getting them done or not getting them done. So if you do this task, what is the consequence? If you don't do it, what is the consequence? So the weight of the consequence will make you know, which one will give me the most satisfaction. Which one will give me the most satisfaction? That's how you know. Apply the 80-20 rule, and from there you can streamline what is most important. Then the fourth. The fourth is focus on your priorities. As the day starts, because you already have the list of what you want to get done, as you start the day, you focus on what matters most at the time where you have your most energy and the least distraction, which is usually in the morning. So once you wake up, you dedicate a reasonable amount of time, 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours, as you can, to get it done, and make sure you are there till you complete that task. So you are doing what is most important at the time when you are most active, when you are least distracted. If you can, wake up as early as you can, you know, about 5 a.m. where a lot of people are still sleeping, and you can do things before, the noise and the distraction get to you. Then you can now apply creative procrastination to all of the remaining tasks. Apply creative procrastination to some of those tasks that are not so important. Do this by 2 p.m., do this later in the afternoon, or do this later in the evening, or do this later in the night. So because you already achieved 80% of the results, they are not as important as those two that you have just focused on. They are not about that one that you are focused on. So you can then procrastinate them to later time of the day. This is you still being productive. But ensure that you are not just reacting to quick deadlines that just arise, just need to attend to something. Ensure you are not reacting, but rather responding to your long-term goals and being proactive about your long-term goals. And this brings me to the last, which is review and plan the next day. Yes, that's the last. Review your day and plan the next day, which is what you do every night. You always need to review, because the system that is not measured cannot be improved. If you don't measure how well did I perform today, how well did I do today, how well did I manage my time today, you won't be able to identify the loopholes and improve on them. So in the nines, you check through. Was I able to do any good today? Was I able to do well today? And you check your list and schedule for the next day. To know that your schedule and your daily challenges will not always be the same. Stay focused, stay disciplined, stay flexible. I'll catch you on the next one. If this video has helped you, I'd like you to share, comment, and like, so that the YouTube algorithm can recommend it to other people. And if you want to know more about how to gain clarity into anything you want to do, you can check the video that we have in the description link below. Thank you very much.